What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the November 25th, 2024 edition of Raw Talk. They open up the episode immediately replaying the Braun Breaker Ludwig Kaiser match from Raw being interrupted by Sheamus, leading to the announcement that at Survivor Series on Saturday will be a triple threat involving the three of them, Breaker, Sheamus, and Kaiser, for the Intercontinental Championship. We see Kaiser backstage with, I believe, Jackie Redmond, I believe is who he was speaking to. And he talks about how he's special and isn't waiting for opportunities anymore. He's taking opportunities. And he goes so far as to mention, which I kind of forgot about, not his reign, but like the kind of connection here, that the Intercontinental Championship lost its prestige, in his opinion, when Gunther lost that championship back at WrestleMania. And he can be the one to restore that prestige. So another really good promo from Kaiser here. I thought his promo a week or two ago was better, but this was also intense. He's consistently improving on the mic. Kaiser's been a real breakout star this year. He hasn't had any gold to show for it. He hasn't held any gold at all, actually, in the main roster, including tag team gold. But any opportunity he's had this year specifically, he's made the most of it, which is cool to see. They hype up the Intercontinental Championship match for Survivor Series back in the studio before replaying the opening segment with Damian Priest and Gunther, and Priest laying out Gunther ahead of their World Heavyweight Championship match this weekend. They preview said matchup, do Megan Morant and Sam Roberts. They also replay the New Day losing very quickly to Alpha Academy. Their immediate arguing afterward, and not the arguing backstage, which was honestly like the best part of the show. They didn't show any of that because it would have taken a while, but that was even better than the match itself. They replay the LWO's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee losing to the Creed brothers in a Tornado tag team match. We hear from American Made backstage afterward. Brutus says that he didn't think Gable would be able to beat the LWO, and Gable gets offended, saying, "Why would you say that?" And it's funny because whenever he insults them, it's not that big of a deal, but when they insult him, it's like offensive. So, I mean, obviously that's the intended dynamic of the group. He's like a fucking dictator to these guys and Ivy Nile. Gable says, a lot like last week, he has a plan. And that plan worked out on Raw. He helped them win the match, actually. I'm looking forward to Ray and Gable when we get it. And then Ivy Nile also mentions that she is ready and willing to become the Women's Intercontinental Champion. That championship was introduced on Monday's Raw in a kind of like a recap. They did it before Raw, oddly enough, and then they showed it in a quick video package during Raw itself, which was weird, but that's the way they did it. So they replay the Intercontinental Championship announcement. That was weird. So they have Nile mention the title, and then they replay the announcement. Why not show the announcement before that? But anyway, I guess they wanted to show the footage of the Creeds beating the LWO before airing their interview, but whatever. We hear from the LWO backstage afterward, namely just, Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilder there as well. We namely hear from Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega calls Chad Gable a loser. Ray says that's not important right now. We will get retribution, but what is important is that Zelina Vega will become the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion. Zelina Vega says that she's no stranger to making history, having won the first ever Queen of the Ring tournament back in 2021, and she wants to be counted out so she can prove those people wrong. A little bit later on, we see Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, Io Sky backstage. They're talking about the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Dakota Kai says this championship is everything they've been working towards, and they have momentum on their side right now. It's all about Damage Control, and then interrupted by the Pure Fusion Collective. Sonya Deville says that they will make sure that Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane do not even make it to the tournament, and that was about it. So this was the actual segment itself, I love Dakota Kai. She would be a great first champion. I like Damage Control. Pure Fusion Collective, every single fucking time they're on this show, and they make far more appearances on Raw Talk at this point than they do on Raw itself. I think they've made all of one appearance on Raw in the ring, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 months since Raw went to 2 hours, which I'm not complaining. The group sucks. But yeah, the acting here from like Sonya and fucking even Zoe was terrible. It's just fucking awful. Anyway, they also show another quick segment with Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Lyra Valkyria all discussing wanting the championship and, friendly competition. They will do whatever it takes to win that title and blah, blah, blah. Chance and Carter don't have ironically, a chance. But Lyra Valkyria does. She would be a great first champion. R-Truth interrupts and says, I want to go qualify for this Women's Intercontinental Championship. I entered at 24 last year, and they're talking about the Women's Rumble, or he's talking about the Women's Rumble. And they mention, well, Truth, you weren't even supposed to be in the match last year, so they didn't let you actually enter the match. But not only that, you're not going to qualify for the tournament because you're not a woman. And he says, well, I'm going to go work on that and go talk to Adam Pearce. So he walks off. Pete Dunne oddly isn't aggressive. Like, he's more annoyed by Truth than he is pissed at him. He just says, listen, I've heard you've been calling me Butch. Truth thinks they're two different people. He says, I'm going to go talk to Adam Pearce and get us a match for next week. I want to fucking beat you up. And Truth was like, okay, like, don't tell Butch, blah, blah, blah. So more stupid silliness from those two. Seems like they're going to have a match one-on-one on next week's Raw. They replayed the Judgment Day beating the War Raiders to retain the World Tag Team titles. Fucking dumb. The match was good, but it's like, can we please move on from Judgment Day as World Tag Team Champions? This is just, it is awful. And I like Judgment Day, but their reign has been a complete fucking afterthought. Please move on. That is all I ask. They run down the Slam and 7 for the night. They also replayed the main event with Bianca Belair beating Nia Jax to get the War Games advantage for Saturday for Team Bianca, Team Rhea, whatever you want to call it. And then Sam Roberts runs down his top 5 for the night. His stars of the night, that being Damian Priest, Akira Tozawa, Bianca Belair, Jacob Fatu, who was barely even on the show. And then Dominic, who obviously was on the show, helping Judgment Day win. And Dominic is always his number one. That's like the gimmick. So that was Raw Talk in a nutshell for November 25th, 2024. Fine show here. It's a lot of the same faces that aren't typically on Raw. I mean, Kaiser was on Raw, but like, the women aren't really on Raw, so they were on Raw Talk here, that being Dakota Kai and Damage Control. And it did make the Women's Intercontinental Championship, also hearing from Ivy Nile, it did make that Women's Intercontinental Championship feel important, that so many women want to get their hands on it. So, if nothing else, that was nice. We had progression with the LWO American Made storyline, the Ludwig Kaiser promo hyping up the match at Survivor Series. So not a whole lot of Survivor Series hype, honestly, on this episode, but in terms of progressing storylines and getting us looking forward to matches and stuff to come in the coming weeks, I thought it was perfectly effective for what it was. Thank you guys for checking out my review of the November 25th, 2024 edition of Raw Talk. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, folks. Have a very happy Thanksgiving on Thursday if you're in America. If you're not, have a great Thursday. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.